Welcome back, my probability-defying pencil pushers. I'm your quantum-entangled quipster, and you're plugged into the Multiverse Employee Handbook, the only podcast that treats your career trajectory like a closed time-like curve. Today, we're unraveling the mysteries of the Infinite Performance Review. Remember, in the multiverse, climbing the corporate ladder might just mean falling up an interdimensional Penrose staircase. Before we start quantizing our quarterly quotas, let me share with you a cautionary tale that would make Stephen Hawking's hair stand on end. Gather round, dear listeners, for the allegory of the multiversal mirror. In the labyrinthine halls of Schrödinger's synergy solutions, specifically in a dusty old storage closet off the R&D department, there hung a peculiar mirror. This wasn't your average reflective surface. Oh no, this mirror had been collecting exotic particles and cosmic rays for longer than anyone could remember. Enter our hapless hero, Quentin, a mid-level probability adjuster who'd recently fallen out of favor with management for predicting a 99.9% chance of the company Christmas party being an unmitigated disaster. He was right, of course, but that's a story for another episode. As punishment, Quentin was tasked with cleaning out the old storage closet. Armed with a mop that had seen better days and possibly better dimensions, he set to work. As he cleared away layers of quantum foam and crystallized time, he uncovered the mirror. Quentin's reflection stared back at him, but something was off. The Quentin in the mirror wore a lab coat that seemed to shimmer with the colors of quark flavors. Mirror Quentin's eyes gleamed with the knowledge of 1,000 universes. "Hello, Quentin," his reflection spoke, its voice a harmony of all possible Quentins across the multiverse. "Care to see your true potential?" Now, dear listeners, if there's one thing you should remember from your interdimensional employee orientation, it's this: never trust a talking mirror, especially one that's been marinating in cosmic radiation for who knows how long. But our Quentin, bless his probability-addled heart, leaned in closer. The mirror's surface rippled like a pond disturbed by a quantum duck. Quentin saw flashes of his alternate selves. Nobel laureate Quentin accepting a prize for solving the black hole information paradox. CEO Quentin leading a merger between realities. Barista Quentin brewing coffee that could fuel faster than light travel. "I could be all of this?" Quentin whispered, his nose nearly touching the glass. "Oh, you already are," the mirror hummed. "In the grand tapestry of the multiverse, you're every success and every failure simultaneously. You just need to collapse the wave function of your potential." Quentin's eyes widened. "How do I do that?" The mirror's surface began to swirl, forming a spiral galaxy of possibilities. "Simple. Just reach out and touch your true self." Now, dear listeners, this is the moment where a sensible person would back away slowly and call interdimensional hazmat. But our Quentin, he reached out, fingers trembling with anticipation. The moment Quentin's fingertips brushed the mirror's surface, reality hiccuped. The mirror's spiral began to spin faster and faster, becoming a swirling vortex of quantum possibilities. What's happening?" Quentin stammered, trying to pull back but finding himself stuck fast. "Oh, just a little spontaneous quantum tunneling," the mirror replied nonchalantly. "Don't worry, this will only hurt across all possible dimensions simultaneously." In a flash of light that tasted faintly of blueberries and existential dread, Quentin was yanked into the mirror. His atoms scattered across the multiverse, each particle finding a home in a different reality. And just like that, Quantum Quentin became one with the cosmic microwave background. His consciousness spread so thin across the multiverse that he became nothing more than a quantum blip in the grand calculation of existence. The dusty storage closet fell silent. The mirror, now just an ordinary reflective surface, hung innocently on the wall. The next day, when Quentin failed to show up for work, HR simply marked him down as existentially indisposed and reassigned his cubicle to a promising young intern from Universe X-77. And so, dear listeners, as we close the cosmic ledger on poor Quentin's interdimensional incident, remember, in the vast corporate multiverse, we're all just one quantum mistake away from becoming a cautionary tale at the next interdimensional safety seminar. Stay tuned. Up next, we'll be exploring evaluating your work across all possible realities. Assuming, of course, you still exist in enough realities to fill out the paperwork. Until then, keep your wave function uncollapsed and your extremities away from any suspicious reflective surfaces. Welcome back, my probabilistically perplexed personnel. I'm your superposition of sycophant and satirist, and we're diving deeper into the swirling vortex of the Infinite Performance Review. Now that we've witnessed the cautionary tale of Quantum Quentin's mirror mishap, let's explore how to evaluate your work across all possible realities without being absorbed into the cosmic background radiation faster than you can say Klaatu Barada Nikto. First things first, the challenges of self-assessment in a multiverse. When you exist in infinite realities simultaneously, how do you decide which you to evaluate? It's like trying to pick a favorite child. If that child also happened to be you, and also happen to be every possible version of you across the multiverse. It's enough to make even a Tralfamadorian's head spin. But fear not, my dimension-hopping drones. For this, we turn to the principle of supersymmetry. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that just some fancy physics theory that hasn't been proven yet? Well, yes, but in the multiverse, unproven theories are just laws of nature we haven't stumbled into yet. It's like the infamous parsec as a unit of time in Star Wars. Completely wrong, but hey, it sounds cool, right? Supersymmetry, first cooked up in the 1970s by a group of physicists who clearly had too much time and pangalactic gargle blasters on their hands. I'm looking at you, Julius Wess and Bruno Zumino. Proposes that every fundamental particle has a supersymmetric partner. It's like cosmic Noah's Ark. But instead of animals, we're pairing up bosons and fermions. Think of it as the universe's ultimate buddy system. In our Multiversal Corporation, we can apply this principle to performance reviews. Just as every particle has its superpartner, every aspect of your professional self has a complementary aspect. Your attention to detail in Universe A is balanced by your big picture thinking in Universe B. Your cutthroat ambition in Universe X is offset by your teamwork skills in Universe Y. It's like Kirk and Spock. But instead of exploring strange new worlds, you're exploring strange new ways to justify your interdimensional expense reports. The key is to find your professional supersymmetry, a perfect balance of traits across all possible versions of yourself. It's like trying to balance your checkbook, if your checkbook were infinite, and each entry could simultaneously be a deposit and a withdrawal. Even the Spacing Guild's navigators would struggle with this level of multidimensional accounting. Now, let's talk about techniques for aggregating feedback from your infinite selves. First, we have the quantum polling method. Simply collapse your wave function at random intervals and see which version of you pops up. It's like multiversal roulette, but instead of winning money, you win, or lose, performance points. Just be careful not to end up like Sam Beckett, eternally leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong in your performance metrics. Then there's the Schrödinger's suggestion box technique. Place a feedback form in a box with a radioactive isotope. Until you open the box, the feedback is in a superposition of all possible states. It's both the best review you've ever received and a strongly worded suggestion to pursue a career as a tardigrade herder in Universe X-77. It's like the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. But instead of advancing human evolution, it's advancing your career. Maybe. Here's the real mind-bender. In a true multiverse, you're simultaneously the best and worst employee in the company. You're the one who saved the company millions with your brilliant innovation, and also the one who accidentally set fire to the Infinity Room during last year's Christmas party. You're receiving the Employee of the Millennium Award in one reality and being escorted out by security in another. It's like being both Dave Lister and Arnold Rimmer from Red Dwarf at the same time. A true quantum state of competence and catastrophe. This paradox of performance is enough to make even the most seasoned HR professional reach for the interdimensional aspirin. But remember, in the multiverse, contradictions aren't bugs. They're features. So, how do you reconcile these infinite variations of your professional self? Simple. You don't. Instead, embrace the chaos. Be the quantum superposition of success and failure. When your boss asks how you're doing, simply reply, "On average, across all possible realities, I'm meeting expectations. Probably." It's like being a Tuvix of your best and worst professional selves, but hopefully with less existential dread and more synergistic skill sets. Remember, in the vast cosmic office of existence, we're all just trying to stay employed in at least 51% of possible universes. It's not about being the best. It's about being the best quantum average of all possible versions of yourself. So channel your inner Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Okay.
Be confident, be chaotic, and always know where your towel is. You never know when you might need to hop realities for your next performance review. Stay tuned, my paradoxical performers. Up next, we'll tackle the mind-bending challenge of setting achievable goals when anything is possible. Spoiler alert. It involves a dartboard, the complete works of Douglas Adams, and a slightly illegal time-like curve. Until then, keep your superposition superb and your quantum coherence coherent. Welcome back, my ambition-addled anomalies. I'm your non-locally optimized objective setter, and we're about to embark on the mind-bending journey of setting achievable goals when anything is possible. Buckle up your non-Euclidean seatbelts. We're about to go where no employee has gone before, and simultaneously where every employee has always been. First, let's tackle the elephant in the room, or should I say, the bantha in the infinite desert of possibility. When you exist across multiple realities, how do you set goals that are both challenging and achievable? It's like trying to bullseye womp rats in your T16 back home, except the womp rats are your career aspirations, and your T16 is a quantum superposition of every vehicle ever imagined. To understand this conundrum, we need to dive into the wonderfully weird world of quantum gravity. Now, pay attention, because this is where things get educational. And don't worry, unlike the science in Jurassic Park, this won't involve extracting DNA from mosquitoes trapped in amber. Quantum gravity, in a nutshell, is the holy grail of physics. The attempt to unify quantum mechanics, the laws governing the very small, with general relativity, the laws governing the very large. Key contributors to this field include the legendary Stephen Hawking and Sir Roger Penrose. Hawking, besides having a cameo on Star Trek The Next Generation, proposed that black holes emit radiation, linking quantum effects to these cosmic behemoths. Penrose, on the other hand, developed twistor theory, which is about as easy to understand as the plot of Primer, but twice as mind-bending. So, how does this relate to goal setting in our multiversal corporation? Imagine your career as a massive celestial body. Your long-term aspirations are the gravitational waves rippling through space-time. But at the quantum level, your daily tasks are like tiny particles, subject to uncertainty and fluctuation. Your challenge is to align these quantum tasks with your grand relativistic goals. It's like trying to navigate a starship using both a sextant and a quantum computer. Tricky, but not impossible if you're an interdimensional Kirk with a Spock-level grasp of multi-universe probability. Here are some strategies for defining success in an infinite possibility space. 1. The Schrödinger's cat career ladder. Set goals that exist in a superposition of achieved and not achieved until observed. This way, you're always simultaneously exceeding expectations and in need of improvement. It's like Schrödinger's famous thought experiment, but instead of a cat in a box, it's your career aspirations in a quantum file cabinet. 2. The Asimov uncertainty principle. Inspired by Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, create 3 immutable career laws for yourself. But remember, like the plot holes in I, Robot, the movie, not the book, these laws should be flexible enough to adapt to any reality you find yourself in. 3. The Multiversal SMART goal technique. Set goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound in at least 51% of known realities. It's like the traditional SMART goals, but with a dash of many worlds interpretation to spice things up. Now, let's address the Dilbert-esque elephant in the room: parallel procrastination. It's tempting to think, why do today what an infinite number of me's can do tomorrow? But remember, in a universe of infinite possibilities, there's also an infinite number of yous who've already missed the deadline. Don't be that you. To combat this, try the Groundhog Day method. Imagine you're Bill Murray's character, Phil Connors, reliving the same day over and over. Each iteration is a chance to improve, to get closer to your goals. Unlike Phil, you don't need to learn ice sculpting or French poetry, unless that's your thing.
Oh la la.
But you should aim to make measurable progress in at least one reality each day. Remember, in the vast goal-setting galaxy of existence, we're all just trying to navigate our personal TARDIS through the time vortex of career advancement. It's not about reaching a fixed point in time and space, but about enjoying the journey across all possible timelines. So, the next time you're updating your multiversal vision board, remember, in an infinite universe, the only true failure is failing to imagine all the possibilities. Well, that and wearing a red shirt on an away mission. Trust me, it never ends well. Stay tuned, my pan-dimensional go-getters. Up next, we'll be delving into the complexities of salary negotiations, understanding pay scales in multiple dimensions. Learn why Show Me the Money becomes a lot more complicated when you're dealing with interdimensional currencies and non-linear time-based compensation packages. Until then, may the quantum force be with you, always and never simultaneously.
Nice.
Welcome back, my pecuniary probabilistic peons. I'm your non-locally optimized negotiator, and we've reached the final frontier of our infinite performance review. Salary negotiations, understanding pay scales in multiple dimensions. Remember, in the multiverse, show me the money is less of a demand and more of an existential question. Now, before we dive into the deep end of the dimensional dollar pool, let's address the Schrödinger's cat in the room. In a multiverse of infinite possibilities, how do you determine your true worth? First, let's talk about the complexities of multiversal compensation packages. Gone are the days when you only had to worry about salary, benefits, and whether the office coffee was sentient. Now, you need to consider your quantum worth across all possible realities. Are you being paid in standard Earth dollars, galactic credits, or perhaps the tears of defeated Klingons? I hear they're quite valuable in certain sectors of the Beta Quadrant. To navigate this interdimensional income labyrinth, we turn to the Multiversal Monetary Matrix, or MMM. It's like the Matrix, but instead of choosing between the red pill and the blue pill, you're choosing between an infinite array of pills, each representing a different compensation package in a different reality. And yes, one of those realities is probably the one where you're a battery for machines. Sorry about that. When calculating your quantum worth, remember, it's not just about the numbers, it's about the probability of those numbers existing in the first place. Are you familiar with Schrödinger's paycheck? It's when your salary is in a superposition of lavish and laughable until you open your multiversal bank account. Here's a quick guide to negotiating benefits across incompatible realities. 1. Quantum healthcare. Make sure your insurance covers spontaneous dimension hopping and paradox-induced headaches. Trust me, you don't want to be caught without coverage when you accidentally become your own grandfather. 2. Temporal PTO. Negotiate for vacation days that exist outside the normal flow of time. Why settle for 2 weeks a year when you could have an infinite vacation that takes place between milliseconds? 3. Diversify your retirement portfolio across multiple realities. Just remember, past performance in one universe is no guarantee of future results in another. Just ask the Gallifreyan High Council about their pension plan post-Time War. Now, let's delve into the ethics of leveraging your alternate self's successes. Is it fair to demand a raise based on the achievements of a you from a parallel universe? It's like that episode of Star Trek where Riker meets his transporter duplicate, but instead of fighting over Troy, you're squabbling over who gets credit for that multiversal merger. My advice? Embrace the quantum superposition of your achievements. You are simultaneously the employee who revolutionized interdimensional communication and the one who accidentally replied all to the entire multiverse. Own it. As we wrap up this episode on the Infinite Performance Review, remember, in the vast cosmic economy of existence, we're all just trying to maximize our return on investment across infinite realities. Your career is no longer a ladder. It's a Mobius strip of infinite possibility with a non-Euclidean bonus structure. So the next time you're sitting across from your boss, or bosses if you've mastered the art of multiversal meetings, remember these key points. 1. Your worth is not determined by a single number, but by an infinite probability distribution of all possible salaries. You're not asking for a raise, you're collapsing the wave function of your compensation. 2. Time is money. But in the multiverse, both are relative. Negotiate for benefits that transcend traditional space-time limitations. 3. Always read the fine print, especially if it's written in quantum ink that only becomes visible when observed by a pan-dimensional bonus structure.
Wait, what?
And finally, never forget the wise words of Douglas Adams. Time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so. But in our case, remember that payday is the most illusory of all, existing in a quantum superposition of direct deposited and lost in interdimensional transit until observed. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Multiverse Employee Handbook. Next time, we'll be diving into the turbulent waters of office romances across the multiverse. Prepare yourselves for a love story more complex than a temporal paradox and more entangled than quantum particles at a speed dating event. We'll explore the do's and don'ts of interdimensional dating, including HR guidelines for romancing your alternate self. Spoiler alert, it's complicated. Learn why it's not you, it's me takes on a whole new meaning when you're dating across parallel realities. We'll also tackle the thorny issue of breakups when you're quantumly entangled. It's not just a broken heart, it's a fractured timeline. So, whether you're a love-struck Vulcan trying to logic your way through a multiversal crush, or a time-traveling Casanova leaving a trail of broken hearts across the space-time continuum, tune in for tips, tricks, and cautionary tales about finding love in all the wrong dimensions. Until then, keep your hearts open and your parallel selves on a tight leash.
Hi, this is Julia from Charlottesville, Virginia. The Multiverse Employee Handbook was created by Rob Corrigan, is edited by Matt Parkman, and narrated by David from 11 Labs. All science fact-checking is done by Mohinder Suresh. The Employee Handbook staff includes Claire Bennett, Hiro Nakamura, and Elle Bishop. Please be sure to subscribe to get updates on new episodes.